2024 Stanley County Board of Education meeting. Welcome to those of you in attendance and those of you watching via live stream. We appreciate you being here and your support of Stanley County Schools. If you would join me for the pledge and the invocation, I'll start with the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us all here together safely. We ask that you be with us as we go through our meeting. Help us make sound decisions for the staff and students of Stanley County Schools. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
And now if you'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up on our agenda tonight is a recognition for our VFW Candidate of the Year, Ms. Hedrick.
This evening, I would like to call Mr. James Whitley. James is a student at West Stanley High School and was recently awarded VFW Cadet of the Year to the Norwood VFW Post out of 129 district packages. Mr. James formally received his award during the VFW state meeting in Greensboro earlier, but we did want to bring him here this evening so that the board could recognize this great accomplishment. And thank you, James, and congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you and congratulations. All right. Next up, we have Stanley Stars.
This evening, we're going to recognize 4 Stanley Stars. The first, I'd like to call Jody Leslie to the front. Miss Leslie is the lead custodian at North Stanley High School. She was submitted for recognition by her colleagues, and they noted that she is a dedicated custodian who has been a star employee at North Stanley High School for 3 years. Jody consistently goes above and beyond to keep the school campus clean and running smoothly. Her attention to detail, reliability, and work ethic have made her a valued member of the Comet team. Jody takes pride in her work and the campus and ensures that North Stanley High School remains a safe and welcoming environment for everyone. And Miss Leslie, we'd like to present you with a plaque this evening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and if they'll all just wait, we'll yeah.
Okay. Next, I'm going to call Mr. George Walker up. Mr. Walker serves North Stanley High School as a teacher, the athletic director, and a coach. He was nominated by his peers because he is an awesome math teacher, dedicated coach, and dynamic athletic director at North Stanley High School. With both a passion for academics and athletics, Coach Walker has a unique ability to inspire students in the classroom and on the court, while he also expertly manages the athletic department. His leadership has elevated the athletic programs at North Stanley High School, fostering a positive culture of teamwork, discipline, and excellence. Whether he's coordinating sports events, mentoring student athletes, or guiding his basketball team to victory, Coach Walker's dedication, integrity, and commitment to Comet Nation shines through in everything he does. His outstanding contributions make him a true star at North Stanley High School, and we are lucky to have him. Our instructional assistant, unfortunately from East Albemarle, was not able to attend tonight, but I do still want to celebrate with you guys Mrs. Jessica Strausser. She is a kindergarten instructional assistant. Ms. Strausser has been an East Albemarle Bullpup since the fall of 2023 and has consistently demonstrated the ability to support teachers in all grades, not just kindergarten. She is patient, compassionate, kind, and a hard worker. Her teammates report that she can always be depended upon to complete tasks, encourage students to try their best, and is very trustworthy. Her can-do attitude has helped build strong relationships with students, their families, and staff. During her first year at East Albemarle, Jessica stepped up to be the primary support for a child, their family, and teachers when the transition to kindergarten was tough. She maintained excellent communication with everyone and provided consistent structure to the student during school hours. The relationship she built with this student and their family extended into the summer when they provided her with updates regarding his progress. This year, Jessica has taken on a daily bus route to help students get to school on time. And these are just a few examples of her willingness to go above and beyond. Jessica plays a vital role in the work we accomplished at East Albemarle Elementary, and I will ask her principal to come up and accept this in her honor. And last but certainly not least, I would ask Mrs. Amy Morgan to come up. Miss Morgan is a kindergarten teacher at East Albemarle, and her colleagues said that she is so deserving of recognition for the work she quietly does each day at East Albemarle. She consistently goes above and beyond for her students, families, and colleagues without complaint. Amy is passionate about her work in the classroom and is a team player, always willing to do whatever it takes to achieve success. She is the easiest person to work with, always wears a smile, and is dedicated to making a difference in the lives of others. Amy has dedicated part of her summer to integrating curriculum resources to create a comprehensive plan for phonics instruction in kindergarten and worked in the heat and humidity to create a sensory path on the playground for our youngest learners to enjoy. She mentors new teachers, veteran teachers, and the administrative team and is a pillar in the East community. We are extremely blessed to have Miss Morgan on our team. All Stanley Stars will please come up to be recognized by the board.
We'll just start right now.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you. Do it down there.
Making mistakes? Yeah, I think so. Thank you for your work. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for your enthusiasm.
Next on our agenda tonight is closed session. So we will now, I will now entertain a motion to go into closed session for personnel matters, NC General Statute 143-318.11A6, student matters, NC General Statute 143-318.11A1, attorney-client matters, NC General Statute 143-318.11A3, and acquisition of real property, NC General Statute 143-318.05.
Make a motion, we go in closed session.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in closed session. Next up on our agenda tonight is public participation at board meetings. I do not believe we had anyone signed up tonight to speak. So we will move on to the next action item on our agenda, and it is the consent agenda and the approval of the minutes from the August 6, 2024 regular board meeting. Board members, you have had those in your board docs for a few days now. If there are no objections or corrections, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
I move we approve consent items as presented.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those have been approved. Okay. Next up, we have committee reports, and I have facilities with Ms. Robin Whitaker.
We did have a facility committee meeting on the 28th, a very lengthy meeting. I don't have anything to report tonight, but you will see in your packet where Mr. Benton included the maintenance improvements that he did over the summer. So I encourage you to kind of look at that PowerPoint presentation he did. He is actually going to do a presentation to us at the next board meeting in October, where he will go over a little more detailed about the items that they were able to accomplish over the summer in our facilities.
Is that all you have?
That's all I have.
I have finance with Mr. Lewis.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. We met on August the 30th. Had a few items of discussion and one motion coming out of committee that Mr. Dudney will kind of go over, but it'll be here for the board to vote on. We got an update on the classified pay scale. Roughly 85 to 90% of our teacher assistants will be held harmless for the first 3 years. So when we looked at making that adjustment, wasn't quite as much of a hit, slightly less than we initially thought, but we're still around 1.1 to $1.3 million hit. This is for the sort of the state mandate to adopt that pay scale and correct some of the pay on the steps that we previously had or did not have. We looked at the software. So if you remember, the state has asked, and I think that's a mandate, that our software, which is currently DOS, if you're familiar with that, has to match up with the state software in order to communicate payroll. I believe there's more to it than that, but you essentially had 4 options. Mr. Dudney, did you want to present that, or are you going to do that later? Okay, speak on behalf of that. And but before he speaks, this came out of committee as an approved item.
Okay.
For the board to vote on.
A few years back, the state had an initiative of doing a modernization to the software that the state was using, as well as the school systems across the state was using. There was 2 approved at the point in time. The board chose 2 softwares since, and that was Tyler, which some of you may be familiar with, because Stanley County Schools was supposed to be one of the golden pilots for that Tyler software before I came. It was tabled right before I came, that we were back out of the pilot program. So since then, it's just been a turmoil at the state level, as well as in some of the school systems across the state, between Tyler and Oracle. Oracle was the software that Gadsden County get loose about a year ago about payroll. The state opened up for us to be able to add 2 more softwares that have been used across the state for many years. One of them is called Link, L-I-N-Q, and the other one is Sylogist, which used to be called the Sunpack or the Sarpax version, which is what we're currently using presently now. Just as easy it is a DOS version, a green screen, what a lot of people call it, black and green screen. We looked at the Link software, or I looked at the Link software about 2 years ago, that they were implementing. They, and then now, Sunpack or Sartlox has come out with their version of a web-based program. We looked at it back in February, and then we actually had a Zoom meeting with all my finance staff, a couple of months ago, on that same software. To my intent, with Sylogist is what it's called, it's, the software is still, we have people that work with that company that I've worked with for several years. It seems to be embedded, to be an easier transition because it is currently what we're using, software, that would transition easier, than bringing the new software completely on board with everything. So, you know, I brought it to the finance committee, Friday, for them to look at the proposed agreement that we had with them. Right, currently, we're paying a little over almost $78,000 a year for the software that we're using now. This software, for the first year is at $55,000, I think is what it was. And over the next 5 years, it would climb this,
59 to 72.
just say a little over 70,000, for at the 5th year. So, you know, with what I talked to my staff and what they feel they would be comfortable for the transition, and working with the people that we already work with, that Sylogist would be the better choice of the software than, any other thing that's out there.
Thank you, Mr. Dudney. I'll just finish up real quick and then need a motion for the board. The last two things, that we talked about, one was Article 44 sales tax again. If you remember, we get allocated that per the county manager's email to us, in local expense. So that sales tax money comes in unrestricted to local expense funding bucket. The county auditor, the independent auditor, when the county continues to put that money in the capital outlay funding bucket. So that's causing the state to question Mr. Dudney and his office again. If you remember, the board did a resolution, I don't know, a year or so ago on this, requesting that the county correct this item. So we're getting it, we're putting it where the county allocates it, but on their financial reporting, they're putting it in a different place. And so it continues to pop up to the state and their auditor as an issue. That was it, Madam Chair.
So the Sylogist agreement, since it came out of committee, I don't need a motion. I just actually need a second.
Second.
Okay, so I have a second. Any questions?
Does this program go to the state? I mean, it will work. It'll go and interact with their system at the state level.
They're currently, Durham Public Schools was the pilot for this program. Since Durham Public Schools has gone on, Rowan software is on it, Union County is looking at it, Brunswick County is going forward with it. Ashford City is on it currently, that this is their second year on that, and I actually talked to the finance director and the HR director back in July, how they were looking at it, that they have invited me and my finance staff to come over and look at the financing part of how it works on a daily basis. We just had to sit at that time. But it does communicate with the state, and we're, they are, the state has approved it as one of the bidders.
So I have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, one more
Yeah,
point of
you're
information from the meeting. Sorry about that.
It's
But the
okay.
board would want to hear this. The off-duty officers that the school system employs, you've got Albemarle, Norwood, Oakboro, Stanfield, and Locust. They're $30, $40, and $35 per hour. Our county deputies, we're at $25 an hour, and we've had to raise that to Dr. Dennis has had to raise that to $35 an hour to be competitive. And then you see that in your board docs, and you see a list of the home games across the middle and high schools that we'll have officers at.
Thank you. In lieu of instructional tonight, Ms. Gibson couldn't be with us. She was not feeling well. board members, please review the attached document that's in there. It will be presented, and discussed at our work session. So we're just gonna, pass over that tonight. Next, I have personnel with
We
Dr.
didn't have a
Leffler.
meeting, no report.
And policy with Ms. Watson. I know we have some that are up for, first read tonight. So, Ms. Watson, I will turn that over to you.
Okay, we had a meeting and we have two policies that have to be voted on tonight.
Mhm.
That's policy 1725-4035-27236 interim tech Title 9 sex discrimination, prohibited conduct and reporting process, and policy 1726-4035-7236 interim Title 9 sex discrimination grievance process. Those two have to be voted on tonight.
Okay, so, board members, Ms. Watson has provided you with the two policy numbers, 1725 and 1726, for approval on first read tonight. Can I get a motion?
Is it a motion out of committee or?
Yeah.
So you need a second?
Second. It's motion on committee.
They were approved to
Okay,
come for
so-
first
so-
reading, but
Okay, so,
individual item.
yes,
Second.
I just would need a second. Okay, I have a second.
Who did the second? I'm sorry.
B. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I'll speak up.
I know,
I was on there. I
it's,
was involved.
it's hard in this room. It's okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fast. All right, Ms. Watson, you're next.
Okay, these will be tabled for 30 days. Policy 4150, school assignment. Policy 7430, substitute teachers. Policy 7500, workday and overtime. Policy 7505, compliance with State Board of Education employment policies. Policy 7510, leave. Policy 7520, family and medical leave. Policy 7530, military leave. Policy 7540, voluntary shared leave. Policy 7550, absence due to the inclement weather. Policy 7610, defense of border employees. Policy 7635, return to work. Policy 7650, employee travel and other expense reimbursement. Policy 7710, membership in professional organizations. Policy 7720, employee political activities. And policy 7730, employee conflict of interest.
Okay,
Those will be, those will be tabled for 30 days.
okay, so board members, you have those for review for the next 30 days, and then you have a few to be.
Yeah,
rescinded.
these
Okay.
will be rescinded since we voted on the
Mhm.
two. Policy 1725/4035/723, Title 9, sexual harassment. Policy 1726/4036/7237, Title 9, sexual harassments, and those will be rescinded
Okay,
because of the other two going in.
yes, the other two will just take their place. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Ms. Watson. And I have safety and security with Mr. Sorensen.
No report, Madam Chair.
All right, next up I have board member comments, and I will start with Dr. Leffler.
From what I heard, and it's very little, it seemed like that we've started our school year off pretty well, because otherwise we hear if it's not going well. We've got, it seemed like our buses, I was talking to Ms. Hedrick, and she said that we've got our buses running. All of them are running every day, but some of them are having to do double routes. So that's putting some kids late at school, but she's got some bus drivers in the pipe to hopefully have a bus driver on every route eventually. But it's doing much better than it has done in the past. And then she has said on the, as far as our teachers and our classified and our non-classified, that we've got more employees this year than we had last year. And we've still got some spots that need to be filled, but they're working on all of them, and it seems to be coming on very well. Also with our Stanley Stars, that's great to hear, because a lot of people we have in our system that are doing a great job, and they think that they're not being recognized, but they really are, because their colleagues and everybody around really see how good a job they're doing. And the school started back and everybody's got back in the groove, and let's keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Whitaker?
It does look like we've had a good start to the school year. I just want to thank our staff for all that they do, and our central office staff. I know it's a busy time, especially for HR. So we appreciate what you do. You know, the one thing I noticed about the Stanley Stars that we recommend, and anytime we're talking about any of our staff, they're always doing something extra. So you have this person who's employed in this job, but she's willing to drive a bus. You have this person who is employed in this job. He's an AD, but he coaches. And those are things that they do over and above. That's not to say they're not compensated for them, but they're willing to do it. And that's what it takes, because it definitely takes everyone. And most of the time it's you doing your job and someone else's job. And so I just want to say that I appreciate the extra step that our employees seem to always go for our school system.
Mr. Sorensen?
The light's on, so it must be ready to go. We'll separate my comments into two topics. First, celebrate some of the victories and some of the things I saw, experienced the last few weeks at the schools. Had the pleasure of watching South Stanley and West Stanley play football the other night, and it was a back and forth battle from start to finish. Both teams were exceptional in the way they conducted themselves, and they both played great ball. Both teams have a ton of potential. And for people that wonder, yes, my heart's still in South Stanley, but when we have an inter-county match, I'm going to sit on both sides. I sat on South Side first half and the West Side second half, and got to chat with some wonderful teachers and educators and parents from both sides. The ROTC state VFW kid, Mr. Wright, Jay Whitley, is a sharp kid, right? There's a sharp young man. And when you look around at what's going on in the world today, it's easy to lose hope in some of our younger generation. That young man's going places, I'll guarantee it. I've been out to West to see the ROTC crowd do their drills, and it's pretty sharp. He's a pretty sharp fellow, so that's exciting. The other part of my comments, the Stanley Stars, we got so many Stanley Stars, you'll never get to them all, but the Common Core came out. I was not a fan. I was still a teacher when Common Core came out, but there was one element of it that I liked. And as a matter of fact, I still like it. And in every lesson plan, you're supposed to have what's called the essential question. And what that really means is, what do you really need to know? So I had the pleasure of dropping in. They hate me when I do this, but dropped in on a couple of schools last week. And at the high school, I ran into two admins. They were having an admin meeting. And I asked them, I said, point blank, who do you work for? They did not say Stanley County Schools. They did not say the Board of Education. They work for the kids. That's the right answer to that essential question. So, and up the hall, I had a chance to talk to one of our teachers that just does astounding things, that has a Holocaust program that's beyond the pale. I asked her, who do you work for? She said, the students. And as I talked to her a little bit more about that Holocaust program, she got misty in her eyes. That's what we have at Stanley County. They're all stars. That's what we have at Stanley County for staff. We have people that love our kids that deeply. Well, where's this going? The election's coming up, and I hate to bring politics into it, but politics is crippling our school system, both sides of the aisle. So there's an essential question that we need to ask. If you have a child in the system, if you work for the system, if you have nieces or nephews in the system, these are some essential questions you need to ask of our county commissioners, our state house reps, and our state senate candidates. You need to ask them, do they really support public education? Our county commissioners, we have several that are new. Every single one of them says, I support education. I go to the forums, I go to this thing. We're gonna do this for the schools. We're gonna do that for the schools. The day they get sworn in, their actions don't follow the words. I support schools, but I don't support funding our schools properly. We ranked 105th out of 117 systems last year. That is an insult to the kids of this county. That's an insult to those admins that are basically doing 12, 14-hour days. It's an insult to the teachers that are pouring their heart and soul. It's an insult. They don't support AP classes. We asked the specific line item issues in our budget. They don't support AP classes. That's just too bad. They don't support decent supplement increases. The state increased our cost to pay our classified people by over $1.1 million. We got less than that from them. Less than that. So they're basically saying, do more with less, but I support education. And finally, the state, like I said, the state pay scale, and we still struggle to fill holes because we get beat to death by the counties around us. The commissioners were gracious enough to give us a 1% supplement increase for our teachers, which gives us almost a half what it is to 2 neighboring counties, half. So when I say this, I'm angry because we are betraying the children of Stanley County. And before you go to the election and pull the lever for a candidate, you should ask that candidate what they really mean about supporting education. I can stand up here and say I support this and I support that, but when the rubber hits the road, that's what really matters. So the essential question, when you need to ask this, I would prefer people didn't vote at all if they don't know the answers to this. Find out what they do support, and if they can explain why 105 out of 117 is okay, and will be worse next year. Based on my prediction, it's going to be worse next year. If they can answer that question to your satisfaction, great. Cast the ballot for those folks. But personally, I'm getting tired of watching our kids get the short end of the stick. I apologize for the tone, but I do not apologize for the message.
Ms. Watson?
Well, I have to say, I'm right there with you, Mr. Sorson. Today, Dr. Dennis sent us a thing on our phone about this young man, third grade, was it? Third grade. And they did this project, and they were hatching eggs.
Quails.
Quail. I don't know what they were, but quails, whatever. Anyway, the teacher helped him during the summer to do this himself, which I think is wonderful that a teacher would do that. And like he said, we've got teachers in this county that love our children. It really gets to me. I just think our commissioners need to go into our schools, see what's going on, and see what we really, really need. And here we've got a young man from North Stanley that is in the Major League Baseball now, Rhett Lauder. And I think we ought to be proud of our children in Stanley County. I am. I'm very proud of them. And I think we can put our kids up against anybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Liz?
I'm not sure how I really follow all of that, but I totally agree with Mr. Sorensen. If you'd like to have your voice heard, we have a facilities committee meeting with the Commissioners Committee on Facilities, September the 6th. That's this Friday at 8 o'clock. North Carolina has a capital grant that, you always hear about the lottery money, and where does the lottery money go? Well, it goes to build schools, and you have to apply for it. We've had previous commissioner board sign off on 4 projects, and the last year, this commissioner board did not sign off on it, and we've been instructed by the county manager in an email that they're not going to sign off on acquiring this grant application either. It requires a 5% match. But if you want to build a high school, it's over $60 million. If you want to build an elementary school, I believe it's over 20 million. And we've got an elementary, a couple high schools, additions on middle schools. You're going to get to see, the public will, I think in October, a presentation. Wait till you see the pictures. We've had a demographic study. We've been told that we need to do something like Cleveland County. I'd implore you to look at Cleveland County study. What you're going to find is that the meat of that study is a demographic study for which we've already did. And matter of fact, that Numerex did that in early 23. We got the results, presented it to the commissioners. It basically tells you where people move, where your population shifts are. And we're expanding that for Indy and across the county on some what if scenarios. The remainder is just a facilities assessment. You can look at an '05 study, you can look at a 2015 study. Those are the last two major studies. You can look at all the data that we've collected on buildings like East Albemarle, Oakboro, look at the roofs that are leaking across the county. But in the Cleveland County study, it does not offer any recommendations at all. It doesn't tell you to close a school, build a school, renovate, send kids here, send kids there. It just provides guiding principles. So I don't think that this board, and I speak for myself, but I generally understand the board doesn't have any interest in wasting $250,000. And to do a major study that was done in '05 is about $750,000. So instead of engaging in discussions on how we're actually going to save the taxpayer money, be actual fiscal conservatives, and get $60 million plus to apply for a grant, we're just going to stick our head between our rears and say no. And that's the position that our commissioner board has taken. So I'd ask the public to show up September the 6th, to show up to our meeting on October, take a look at these facility pictures. Once you see them, you don't need a rocket scientist to come tell you that that roof needs to be replaced. So there's a lot of decisions that have to be made at the county level with the taxpayer dollars. It's not in our purview to spend county dollars. We're allocated that specifically for the school system. We got $4.1 million for capital outlay. We've got millions in maintenance needs, 130 to build a new high school, 40 to 50 to build an elementary school. But if you really want to hear what's going on with facilities, with some of the curriculum needs that we have and funding, September the 6th, 8 o'clock is the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to follow up on Mr. Lisk and Mr. Sorensen, I don't know that I could restate it any better than you guys already have, but we are sort of at a crossroads with where we are right now, and we don't really have any other direction to go. And for our commissioners to just sort of shut down even signing off on the potential of receiving that type of funding, it's just very disappointing and saddening for our students, really, because we need better facilities for our kids, and we need better programs, and the only way we're going to get that is to get to work on some of the things that we have. So I'll just sort of leave that at that. Other than that, I'm really pleased with the start of the school year. I would like to congratulate our HR department and our finance department, all of you guys, for getting school started, getting us a pretty hefty sub list going there. I know we had some changeover with that, so I appreciate all the hard work you guys have put into that. And Mr. Plummer with you guys with curriculum and instruction, getting everybody back going and getting it all started off on the right foot. So I just really appreciate all of that and all the hard work our students and staff are putting in. I helped 4 or 5 kids with some homework this afternoon at the after school program. It was first day having kids back, and so it was good to have kids back in the building. So I'm excited to see where this school year goes. And with that, I will move on to personnel and administration. And we have the qualified observer list.
So each local board of education is charged with maintaining a list of qualified observers that are employed by the board or selected by the board. And you're charged with selecting administrators or teachers with excellent reputations for competence and fairness. The purpose of this list is in the event that a teacher is placed on a mandatory improvement plan, they work together with their principal to designate a qualified observer, which serves as a neutral party to come in and observe that teacher who is showing some struggles. The qualified observer submits a report to the principal, and that is part of the mandatory improvement plan that employee is placed on. At this time, Stanley County Schools does not have a qualified observer list, so I worked with our administrators to put one together for you. Because we are required to maintain a qualified observer list, I would ask that you consider approving this list this evening. Every principal has recommended employees to serve on this list. And then cabinet has also reviewed the list and feel confident that we've got a good representation of positions and schools across the county.
Okay, board members, you have this list in board docs. This is an action item for tonight, so, I will entertain a motion for approval of the qualified observer list.
I move we approve the list of qualified observers.
Okay, I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we have personnel.
Any questions about the personnel agenda this evening? Then I will request your approval.
Section one, no approval, but, section two.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The date and time of our next scheduled board meeting is Tuesday, October the 1st in the Gene McIntyre room. And if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion in a couple of seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, we are adjourned.